Hello, everyone.
Hi, Aniruddha.
I have some, I think we have few people joined in. Yeah, wonderful. Piyush, Yash, Tariq, Mazhar. Hi, guys. We'll be standing
Hi,
out
everyone.
shortly. Cool. So, what platforms are you guys using? That's the first poll I'll start with. What channels do you want to see? And Google Data Studio. For now, in the interest of time, we have Google and Facebook only, which I think should cover at least 80% of the cases. But let me know if you guys have anything else. TikTok, Apple search ads, Snap. Cool, 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 cool. Okay. End of the week, end of the month, right? Every month for me is like a new month of target, new ROAS targets, new sales targets, and especially with this Q4, Q3 in India coming in, right? That's like such a crazy, crazy roller coaster life because obviously your revenue can skyrocket and so can your CPAs, CPMs, CPPs, everything, right? So for us as media buyers, marketers, it's so challenging because it's obviously a mixed world. What do you guys think? What are some of the things outside obviously creative is critical for you guys? And that's why this reporting format becomes extremely critical, right? Because without having a structured, streamlined reporting structure, you really can't navigate these challenges. So I think we have five-ish people. Probably a good idea to start in a minute. Um, I'm trying to see how do we send. Is there a way for us to send this link on the Slack?
Hmm, checking in here.
One of you guys, if you can hear us, we have six-ish viewers. Can one of you guys just drop that link? Hi Piyush, so are we excited? Yeah. This is the first time we're using this platform, but I think this platform is more streamlined as compared to webinars, which happen on Zoom or other platforms because they give us a better interface overall. Hey Aditya, seeing that excitement. Is this the excitement for weekend or this call? Aditya, Piyush, if one of you guys can be kind enough to just drop the link you are accessing on the chat box here, if the interface allows you. Bit of both, yeah. Tell me. Awesome, Piyush. Thank you. We'll send it through and get started. I think awesome. Cool, cool, cool. So going to start. Look at studio. Yeah, just sharing it now. Do not disturb mode. Okay. So yeah, so this was basically the Google template, Looker template, which we had, right? And we will send this again for you guys, right? What we have done here is set up the template, but right now, if you see, there is no data. right? Because the data is not integrated, and I'm sending it on the Slack channel for you guys again. Now, what we plan to do for this session is basically guide on how we can replicate and have like a full structured reporting template, which helps you navigate your day-to-day operations, client reporting, internal reporting, etc. Right. So yeah, I will start. We have nine-ish people. I think it's a good time for us to set the stage. So step number one to get started is you go on this Looker Studio template, click on this button here on the right hand side, click this make a copy. When you make a copy, you will see these new data sources, right? So what it's doing is basically telling you, hey, these are your original data sources, one for Facebook, one for Google, and these are the new data sources which you want to add, right? So now if let's say you want to add these data sources, hypothetically speaking, for a beauty care brand, what you want to do is number one, go to the data sources section of Google, right? So go here, looker.googlestudio.com, then go to Data Studio, and then create a new data studio. What we are doing here is basically fetching the data so we can visualize it. Now to fetch the data, we need connectors, right? Like how on WordPress or on different thing you need plugins. So these connectors help you fetch the data, warehouse and store it so you can now visualize it, right? So there are two data sources we are including in today's demo. One is Google Ads, as you see here, right? Google Ads here. The other one, and Google Ads is quite straightforward because it's Google's own property. You don't need different connector. Google Ads is there by default. Similarly, for Google Analytics is there for by default. Now, what you can do is you can also, and by the way, this is going to be completely free. There are paid tools. There is a platform like Supermetrics, which you have, right, which is paid. And I think it charges like $100 to $150, right? Hafsa, somewhere around that. And Funnel.io is $500 to $600. Feel free to feel free to comment if you guys use any other comment connectors. What we use and what we've seen works pretty efficiently, even being free, is SyncWith. I think I've mentioned this on LinkedIn and on our communication on Loom as well. SyncWith is what we use for free. So not what we have to do. To recap, step number one, go to the data source. Step number two, select the relevant connector you want. So we are selecting here SyncWith. Now, since you'll be doing this for the first time, you will have to create and sign up an account with SyncWith for free. In the interest of time, you can do that here just by clicking that. In the interest of time, I'll skip that phase, skip that step. And once you do that successfully, you'll get a list of drop downs of all the ad accounts which you have access to. And here you select one of those ad accounts, right? And after that, voila, you're done, right? Then connect here and name that data whatever you want to name it, right, for easy visibility. So I named it as, let's say, test a meta, right? And this is going to take some time, so I will go and integrate Google also similarly. So far so good. Let me know in comments if you guys are following through. Right, so go here on Looker Studio, go Data Studio, go to Data Studio, select a new create data source, and then select Google Data Ads, select for the account which you want to select. And yeah, here test Google Ads A. Right, so I created these two data points. And post this, what we'll do is select the relevant data sources which are there. Right, so test Facebook ads, test Google ads. We selected them and copy report. And I'll share this with my friend Hafsa here, so she's able to follow through the next. Right now, you see, even though we selected the data studio stuff, I think it still looks broken. Yeah, why is this the case? Wait, here was this. You make a copy. Oh, I selected the same one. Make a copy, right? And what did we name it? We named it as test a meta and test Google Ads A, right? So test Facebook here, test Google Ads here, and copy report. And now is where the magic starts happening, right? You start seeing your data getting replicated properly, clearly, and all you have to do is customize currency metrics, customize your visualization. What we are seeing here for this Facebook ad account, it spent 840K. CPM is at 267. We have CP at 752. Our return on ad spend is pretty decent. It's at 2.2. Conversion rate is extremely strong at 8.83. AOE is at 1600, right? And what we want to do then further is do a daily, weekly, monthly analysis, right? And this is going to help significantly. One of the biggest use case which we see in our agency and in our accounts is what we do is we schedule daily reports for these clients because clients want to know, hey, day in, day out, what's going on with my account, right? You can't do that promptly, proactively all the time. So you can set up and schedule these delivery reports. So add whoever you want to deliver, your client, your managers, your XYZ person, add their email ID here, customize the email subject and message. And like Hafsa mentioned, right, we to me earlier, we can also download this as PDF. If you want to deep dive, go in more detailed format, you can do that as well. And we've seen this to be super helpful and productive. Now, what you want to do is, let's say I'll pick one of those metrics. So here it's set up at a daily level, but I want to see, let's say I want to customize one of the metrics so it gets easier for you guys, right? We will remove this reach as a column. Instead, I'll add a custom metric, which I love. I call it custom traffic quality. Traditional name for this metric, by the way, is landing page view rate. What it tells you is basically how many people land versus how many people had actually clicked, right? Which is a good reflection of A, how slow is your website, B, how relevant was your messaging on the ads versus what users are seeing on the landing page. So what we have done here to create the formula, we have added the sum formula, sum landing pages. So it sums all the landing pages on that day, divided by sum all the link clicks. You want to do it in the sum fashion because when you replicate and copy paste this for weekly and monthly, if you don't do that, there will be errors and you'll see wrong formulas coming through. Right. And since this is going to be in percentage, the data type here will be percentage rather than number or currency. Had it been a CPM metric, we would have selected currency. And in one view, we clearly get to see, hey, how is my traffic quality moving day in, day out, right? Similarly, how's my purchase rate here is moving day in, day out. You see, we have done color coding here. You can also do that via the styling here, right? So go to the styling section, and there's going to be a lot of plug and play for you guys as well. As you start deep diving, I think 30% of the friction of handling and working on Google Data Studio has been solved up to this point. Beyond this point, it's up to your creativity and imagination on how much you want to explore with Google Data Studio. And the power of this tool, like I said, is like more than a $5,000 course you would have taken, right? Or more than $5,000 you would have invested on anything else, right? So here we have done this color coding with this heat map styling section here. You can left align this, you can center align this, you can increase the size of these fonts, colors, right? All of these design opportunities for you guys. And post that, we have this scorecard as the option. So here also you can customize what you want, key elements you want to show. Right. The most important we have seen which CXOs want to see is A, how much have I spent? B, what is my return on ad spend? What is my cost per purchase? What is my conversion rate? Those four metrics kind of sum up everything else, and anything else is more on the media buying, more on the performance marketing, rather than the CMOs, CXOs deep diving on those things. So far, so good, friends. Want to take a pause and reflect on anything? Anything we should be doing differently? Anything you guys want to see differently? Want to take a pause and just get a heads up? How's the room feeling up? Okay, nothing. So I assume we are good. Cool. Hafsa, anything to add till this point? Anything you would want to just add from whatever we have covered so far?
No, great insights. Yeah, I think like you can continue if there are
Awesome.
no questions.
Awesome. Awesome. Cool. So up till this point, and let's now also view what we have done. Right. So we have had this setup of daily, weekly, and scorecards. Right. Now the next section and how let's say we do that daily to weekly. Right. Let me kind of delete this and show you. Right. So right now I think this is set up as weekly. I was playing around. This should be daily. Yeah. So this was daily. This is the default view. So on dimensions, you keep a date. On metric, you report whatever metrics you want to. This is similar to how Google Analytics reporting also works. Now you want to see a weekly breakdown, and weekly breakdown is my personal favorite. I always dissect metrics on a weekly level, and all the pros, all the champs, I'm sure 90% of you guys are already doing that. If not, I highly recommend you guys doing that. So now you have this view in daily. You go to dimensions, select the data type, so go here and select ISO year week. ISO year week is like the standard Monday to Sunday. That's the best way of looking at it. I find it. Once you select that, it sums up very cleanly, right? If you think this is not formatted correctly, like in Excel, we do this. You can drag and drop all of these metrics here as well, right? And now let's say you want to do it monthly. Again, copy paste, Control C, Control V, the best friend we can have. And now select as ISO month or year month, yeah, right? So this gives you, hey, month on month, how have we been doing? People also want to see at quarter on quarter how we're doing, right? Most of the companies and quite a few investors see metrics of quarter over quarter. So do that if you want to. Now lead deep dive to the audience demographic bit. And this post iOS 14 has not been as helpful as it used to be, but still directionally you get a sense based on the amount spent, right? And these all of these metrics will auto-populate for you, but if you want to deep dive and do it yourself, feel free to do that. Create a duplicate page, play it around, right? So right now this is sorted by, let's say, purchase. I will sort it by impressions. Better to sort it by impressions because purchase is will not be 100% accurate post iOS 14. If you are in an Android heavy market, like India, Brazil, then it might still make sense. But if it's an iOS heavy market, that wouldn't make as much sense. For this product, let's say, for example, we see 80% of the split is towards female versus only 20% on males, right? Similarly, age bracket is 35 to 25. How do you use that in your day-to-day practical application? Create a strategy, right? Speak more towards those demographic. Go to ChatGPT, tell them, hey, my demographic is 80% female, 25 to 44 age. These are my core propositions. Give me ad creative ideas, right? And that comes in more handy as compared to randomly giving generic suggestion prompts to ChatGPT or these AI platforms, right? So that was component number two. Component number three is in terms of campaign analysis, right? So you can do a week over week study for your campaigns as well. How each of your campaigns are doing week over week. You changed budgets, how did that impact? You launched new creatives, how did that impact? Right? If you look at this account, in this account, we see that, hey, this 2.68 Advantage Plus campaign is doing the best. Last week, it was doing at 1.98. Prior to that, it was doing 3.17. So probably what did go wrong here, which spoiled the performance? So one thing which stands out is, hey, your conversion rate was 8.7 a week prior. Week of September 14, the conversion rate dipped a little, almost 10-15%, and that's why the drop. And now we are again seeing improvement, right? And those kind of insights are helpful for you to make better decisions. And then these charts are very helpful for you to report in the weeklies, monthly reports on how your CPM, CTR trends are moving. And even apart from reports, they are helpful for you to make decisions quickly. Let's say if your cost per add to cart is increasing, that's a big sign that your cost overall will increase, right? And which is quite visible here as well. The first weeks of September, our cost per add to cart was at 330. Our ROAS dipped to 1.8. Right now, we are at a cost per add to cart of 280, and ROAS is strong at 2.2 ish. Right, and drop in CTR here. CTR is improving. Thank God for that. But if your CTR would have been dropping, that's a clear sign of creative fatigue. Right? Does that make sense? Any questions? Any comments? Nothing I see. So I think I'll good. I'll keep on moving. And this is not so useful but helpful. Again, depends if you are doing a lot of prospecting versus retargeting as segmentation, and you can add that as a segmentation here based on campaign name filters, right? And that comes in handy as well, but I don't consider this super helpful. And here's the most interesting section where literally 90% of Meta's success relies, which is your creative stats, creative strategy. But before I deep dive there, I'll take a moment to see if, and I would like to have some questions, comments on what do you guys think of this so far. We have 14 folks on the call, so I'm sure there can be some challenges, some problems we can solve. How helpful has this been on a scale of 1 to 10? And avoid giving a 7. Come on, come on. We should start a poll. Okay. I think I'll continue to that. Hafsa, do you want to deep dive on the creative breakdown now? I can send you the link here.
Sure, let's go ahead.
Yep. I'll continue to share screen while Hafsa goes through this.
Yep.
Okay. This is the gold mine which we have been waiting for. Here we go. Let's go.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Okay.
here we
Yes.
should apply this as formula, percentage. Yeah, but Hafsa, feel free to start.
Sure. Um, Anirudh, I'm not able to see a screen.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll share again.
I can see the poll results on the dashboard. Can see it
Hmm.
now. Okay.
Are you seeing it now?
What about you guys? Can you see Anirudh's screen? Mhm.
Wait, I know why it is the case. Let's go. Yeah, I think everyone can see now.
Perfect. Okay, great. All right. So thank you, Aniruddha, for your insights so far. Really helpful, and I'm sure, like even like the creative performance charts that we have here, and in the next few tabs are gonna be really helpful for folks who are looking into deeper insights at the creative level, which ultimately drives the performance of your campaigns, right? So we have a great segregation over here in terms of attention, which is your hook rate. We have the interest section, which contains the whole rate and average watch time. We'll go into the detailed definitions of some of these as well. Yeah, desire is, of course, like when a user clicks on the particular ad, right? It's counted as the CTR. So that's like, of course, the desire to try your product or service. So that's a very important metric as well. And then action, obviously, like we want to generate results, we want to see in the purchases, ROAS. So that's particularly important as well. Now, just like speaking on some of the definitions of this, so hook rate, most also commonly known as the thumb stop rate, right? It shows the creative performance in terms of grabbing the attention of your audiences. Um, so generally, like higher the hook rate, the better is your creative performance. So you can create a custom metric even on Facebook. Of course, we are doing it on Data Studio India, but also on Facebook, you have the option to create a custom metric, and it's calculated as 3-second video views divided by the number of impressions. So that really helps understand how many percentage of your audiences actually pause while scrolling their feed for at least like 3 seconds and watch like 3 seconds of your video. So that's very important to do so, right? Now, next, coming to the goal rate. So it actually defines like how long your audiences actually engage with your ad. So again, like hook rate, it's a very important metric, and generally we see hook rate and hold rates. They generally go hand in hand, right? So if you have both strong hook rate and hold rate, that means like that's a really good creative, I would say.
Yep.
Anirudh, would you like to add in anything?
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, right? Very strong, very helpful to have this metric and something which we have like practically looking at this account, right? What we are seeing is everything is in red, which is not ideal, right? What it's kind of implying for us is that we are seeing creative saturation, right? Most of our creatives are not working as well, right? Where not, I would say not working as well, but they are seeing saturation, right? If you look at the hook rate has went down from 8%, hold rate went down by 30%, CTRs also went down a little bit, and your ROAS consequently dropped by 2.2 by 10%, right? Now, why it's important to keep a track is because when you do this at an ad creative level as well, you get gold mines of insights, right? If a creative is getting good performance, but a creative, the frequency is crossing more than 4, at a monthly level, then that's a red flag for you. That means your ads are being over delivered to the same cohort, right? If your ads are delivered more than 2 at a weekly level in the last 7 days, and let's see for this account if that's the case. Always interesting to find those insights. And right now, since we are on the call, it will take a while to load all these things. Typically, it is right. And then we also want to see top 5 last 4 weeks performing at, right? And you want to see, and we'll deep dive on that later. Probably, actually, it might be a good time to deep dive on that top 5 bit. That's also going to take time because this is where we actually I'll let Hafsa carry on actually on this. It's going to take some time because this is one of the heaviest section. It's what it's going to do is basically help us load thumbnails, names of the top 5 ads, and since this reporting is loading for the first time, it's taking comparatively longer time, and you can use these insights for your weekly, monthly reports on, hey, these are the top 5 ones. Here are the top 5 worst ones. It's important to know what's working and also not working. Yeah, here we go. So for this account, we got this in analysis, right? And Hafsa, feel free to start now.
Sure. So yeah, thank you, Anirudh. So here in this section, we basically have some of our top 5 ads that have a really strong performance, right? So we see the thumbnail over here, which of course helps for mainly your external stakeholders who are going through this report to understand like which of the creatives are actually driving performance. Now again, like there are like other important metrics that we just went over. So like again, like the hook rate, hold rate, and then of course your performance oriented metrics, your ROAS, your conversion rates. So all of these are pretty important. And like Anirudh had pointed out, we have the frequency as well. So for the first ad, we see a pretty high frequency. So 3.9, it's definitely high. Like, it's best to dig into what's going on over here. Perhaps a creative refresh would do. Perhaps creating more variants of the same ad would help, right? So there are a lot of things you can do in terms of optimization, right? And like we also have the option to filter this by your campaign name. So Aniruddha, if you can click on that.
Yeah, I'll click on that. I filter by campaign name. Yeah,
Yeah, if you just select any of the campaigns, so you will understand
yeah,
like which of the creatives are actually performing at the creative level, because
the campaign.
sometimes
Yeah,
this may also, like, we are running retargeting campaigns as well, which may mess up with some of the metrics that you see. So frequency, generally, as you guys know, in retargeting campaigns, generally the audience size is smaller than those of your new user campaigns. So generally, like, we see a difference in the frequency. So um, so while this provides an overview, right, it's best to dig in for any issues at the campaign level.
yeah. I think we have a question here from Matthias as well. Couldn't it be possible that you do have a good you do have a low hold rate because the user clicked on the CTA. This said, a high hold rate doesn't have to be a good thing, right? What's your opinion? So that's a good point, right, Matthias? So what you are saying is we have that challenge. And by the way, this is a question for a different session, but we'll take that right now in the interest of speed. So we definitely need to have at a high hold rate at an aggregated level. At a personal, at an one ad account, there can be small incidents where the user clicks on the CTA just right away watching the ad, but that will be a very minuscule part of the story. When your ad is delivered to hundreds and hundred thousands of users, the hold rate should be at least 8-10% higher than that. Even if in this ad in this campaign you'll see, right, there has been a scenario that this ad is an exception where it is at 8%, but almost all of our ads are more than 10% hold rate, right? And percentage can be varied based on the industry, based on the product, how much education you need to create around that, right? For fashion, for high moving products, you don't need to do that long bit of selling, right? Because at the end of the day, you're selling a shoe, you're selling a sock, you're selling a dress. What else can you differentiate and hold better? Does that answer your question, Matthias? I hope it does. Hasa, feel free to go along if there's anything else.
Right, cool. Yeah, so like we have filtered over here by campaign name. So here you see that one of the other creatives is performing well over here. We see the founder story doing pretty well. Um, so the ROAS is looking pretty strong. Hold rate,
Yeah,
everything is good. So yeah, this is how like you can look.
yeah,
And like here, if you see the frequency for the second ad that we saw, which was closer to 3, I believe, it's like at 1.5, which is pretty okay, I
yeah.
would say.
Pretty strong, especially because it's in last 30 days. So last 30 days,
Yeah.
4 is the cap. Last 7 days, 2 is the cap. Right. And then that's about it in terms of creatives. And the last bit which we have is for Google. So Google, we have there can be again multiple ways you can deep dive and dissect your campaigns. What we have done in the interest of speed is based on weekly campaign level and scorecards on the top. So this not going to deep dive on this a lot because this is more or less the same as it was for Facebook. Just the metrics would change, but the fundamentals would more or less remain the same. Right. All right, team. I think we've come out in time, and this was a solid 30-minute power session. So thank you for all of the folks who joined in, and we'll see what else can we chat through next time. Take care.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks.
And feel
Bye.
free to shoot in any questions on our Slack. Thanks,
Sounds
Anirudh.
good. Thanks. 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 Bye.